Sustainability awareness in JCPS. That's what we're going to talk about. And I just give you a couple of questions up front to think about because this is kind of the flow of the program. What is environmental sustainability? You may not know right now what environmental sustainability is, but through the course of this, you're going to understand what it is and why it's important to JCPS. Are you sustainable? Are you green? You know, a lot of people interchange those terms. So we'll go through that. Why should you care at work? You know, that's one of our questions. And then the tip sheet, and then some of the tips I give you. There's one thing I'll give you before I'm done, that if you don't take anything else away from me today, how to be energy efficient at home can save you money. My name's Brent Fryver. I'm with the Partnership for a Green City. We've been around for 10 years. It's the City of Louisville, the University of Louisville, Jefferson Community and Technical College, and JCPS. So if you think about it, it's 4 large public entities working on sustainability together. And we try to find different things that we can do throughout our organizations. And if you think of it as a resource issue, we have a lot of resources we bring to the table. There's almost 28,000 employees that we have. So if I want to get a sustainability message out, I can get that message out to the employees. We manage 1/10 of all the land in Jefferson County. So there's a whole lot of land we manage. We've got to be good stewards of the environment. 531 buildings, 155 of those are schools. But we manage in those buildings over 30 million square feet of space. That's a big carbon footprint when you think about it because of the electricity we use. 138,000 students, 7,000 fleet vehicles. That's everything from police, fire, EMS, school buses. JCPS has the largest hybrid electric school bus fleet in the country. And they didn't even do that on the backs of the taxpayers. They got grant money that made a regular bus into a hybrid electric by having that grant money. They had over $2 million in grants. The vehicles we all use, we spend money to buy about 12 million gallons of gas or diesel every year. And then our annual energy use, this is the first year it's dropped. Last year it had been $49 million, and we've dropped down to $46 million. But aren't you glad you don't pay that bill? But we do pay that bill. We all pay taxes. So that's why we need to care. I mean, you see what people bring to work and plug in, but does anybody ever see the bill? No. So do you care? Just making you think a little bit. You care about what happens at home because you pay that bill. This is our, I call it our environmental or sustainability ethic. It's our environmental principles that actually were put together by a leadership team at the partnership 10 years ago when we first started. If you look through those 10 items, they are things that all 4 of our organizations can do together. I don't tend to spend a whole lot of time on this. It's dry. If you want more information, there's a Partnership for a Green City website, and I'd be glad to talk to you about those. But I want to bring it back to what you can do. You know, how can you be green at work? And so there's a few things that you can do. Look at that utility bill. $18,236,000 a year is what JCPS pays. That's over $1.5 million a month. And that's what the collective taxpayers pay. JCPS is the largest energy consumer that LG&E has in all of the energy consumers. People might think it would be Rubbertown or Ford or General Electric. It's JCPS because the sheer volume of sites and the sites that operate not just from 7 to 3 or 9 to 4, you know, they operate in the evenings, they operate on weekends. So that's a sizable bill. So that's one of the areas that we can always focus on. There are actions you can take. It's not rocket science. What did your mom tell you? Turn off the lights when you leave a room. It's that simple. You know, all my life, that's one thing. And the other thing, she says, you know, don't open the refrigerator door and stand there. You're air conditioning the kitchen and nothing's going to materialize. You know, it works for me, but, you know, now I don't look in it at my own house. So turn off the lights, unplug equipment when it's not in use. Anybody in here unplug their cell phone when they're not charging it? Why? Well, it might kill the battery. Why else? It's constantly pulling the power. If your phone charger is plugged in, it's taking power even if your phone's not charging. Let me give you another little hint. Anything that you've got at home that has a remote control does the same thing. So as we're worrying about making sure we turn things off at school, think about turning things off at home. Unplug equipment when it's not in use. And this is the one thing I want you to remember. There's a lady named Carolyn over in Human Resources. She's at the Van Hoos Education Center. And she's got like a 3-bedroom, 2-bath condo. She's on the 2nd floor, so she doesn't have the insulative qualities of being on the 1st floor. She only leaves 3 things plugged in all the time: stove, refrigerator, alarm clock. What do you think she pays LG&E on any given month? $30 is too high. 15 is too low. $22.50. When it got so cold this fall or this winter, she went out and bought a little room heater that she could transfer from room to room. And still, her energy bills were never over $56 or $58 a month. She doesn't heat when she's not there. She doesn't cool when she's not there. But eliminating the plug load can really make a difference. You can unplug things like that. You can also plug them in. He was talking about the toggle switched power strips. You can plug stuff into the toggle switch power strips, turn the toggle switch off, and it cuts the power to everything there. The other thing that you can look for, and you can find them in Home Depot, Office Depot, Staples, or on Amazon.com, they're called Smart Strips or Eco Strips. And a lot of people like to use these at home on their entertainment centers or their computers, because if you've got it on your computer system, if you put your computer into the main plug, when you turn your computer on, it will turn all the plugs on for your scanner, your speakers, your printer, anything else that goes along with your computer. But then when you turn your computer off, it cuts the power to everything, and they can save you about 75% of your energy use. Eco Strip or Smart Power Strip. They might cost you $20, but it's also got the surge protection, and $20 you'll save that in energy your first year most likely. Another idea that would blow your mind, if everybody at JCPS set the computers to sleep or hibernate mode, you can save $6.38 per computer per year. JCPS has 45,000 computers. That's about $287,000, $288,000 that we could shave off of our energy costs, off that $18 million bill, just by going to sleep or hibernate. And if you think about the schools or the facilities you're located in, oftentimes you see one of those screensavers that whirls around all the time. That makes the computer work. That's not an energy saver. That just makes people aware that the computer's still on. Put them to sleep. Do the same thing at home. Turn your computers off at the end of the day, except on Thursdays. Thursday night they do uploads, so that's the only night you don't turn computers off at JCPS. And then I talk about maintaining reasonable temperature sets. Anybody in here feel like it's cool? If you tend to be cool-natured, bring a sweater, bring a sweatshirt, bring a hoodie, bring something that's going to keep you comfortable, because this is the biggest problem at all 4 of the partners. Somebody's cold. And I can go into most places from any of the 4 partners during the summertime, see somebody in a cute little outfit dressed for summer, and they've got a under-the-desk heater going full bore on them because they're cold. If you're going to dress pretty, bring something to cover up instead of using the heater, because that just uses way too much energy. Just a couple other numbers that'll blow your mind. I asked how many miles we drive in Jefferson County on any given day. It's about 24 million vehicle miles. That's all the cars, all the trucks, everybody that goes in and through. But JCPS buses, when people say, you're busing students all over town, they're only 100,000 miles of that a day. So in retrospect, it's not really that much. Plus, JCPS does better than most other school districts. Most school districts only have about 50% of their students on buses. You know, JCPS has about 70% of their student body on buses to school, and it's a much safer way for students to get to school. They're much safer in a bus than they are in a car. So we look at other transportation opportunities. Riding public transportation, that's not always easy to get to work, especially when the schools are as spread out as they are. But you can carpool or school pool, van pool, just depending on how far you live. We talk about not idling for more than 10 seconds. You all heard those commercials on the radio. If you can count to 10 and you're stuck somewhere, except on the interstate, I say, turn off your vehicle, just not on the interstate. But if you're at McDonald's, if you're in the bank drive-through, if you're stuck in traffic on Shelbyville Road and it's taking forever to move, turn off your car. You save gas, because if you idle for up to an hour, a 4-cylinder car uses more than a gallon of gas. Who's got that money to waste? But you can tell me exactly where you see it most. Think about the schools, though. What about the carpool lane? Everybody sits there idling. Well, JCPS has a no idle policy, and don't be afraid to politely tell people, we don't want to see idling here. We've got a policy against it. Even the school buses cannot idle for more than 2 minutes before school starts, because the stuff that comes out the tailpipe causes children with asthma a whole lot of problems. So it becomes a public health issue. Other ways you can help. Recycle what you can. A lot of people don't realize when they work for JCPS that everything is recyclable, goes in one recycling bin. It's called single stream recycling, and it's the easiest way. They've made it easy for you to just throw everything in the recycling bin that's recyclable. The only thing that really goes to trash is bathroom waste and cafeteria waste. And a lot of that can be composted. So there's things that we can do there. Reuse things. If you drink water, and I've seen a couple reusable water bottles or coffee cups here. If you drink coffee, bring a coffee cup to work. There's going to be some place you can wash it out. If you drink water, soda pop, lemonade, whatever, bring a glass to drink that from. That way you're not throwing something away constantly. Purchase only what's needed. If you think about it, everybody's seen a case of paper. And you get 10 reams of paper. Each ream of paper is 500 sheets of paper wrapped in. It's wrapped in paper, yeah. Well, in the cardboard as well. I do that at JCTC, and everybody looks at me like I'm crazy. They get 2,000 sheets of paper in a box that is not wrapped, so they don't have that to discard immediately. What's wrong with these highlighters? They're individually packaged. Why? I asked them that when they sent them to me the first time, and they said, well, it protects the silk screening. I don't need the extra paper, so I use it now as a teaching tool, but I'll never order these again because they're each individually wrapped where the pins are not. Makes you go, Buy locally grown produce. If we can invest in our local economy, farmers markets, you get fresher food that hasn't traveled 1,500 miles to get to your local Kroger, Target, Meijer, wherever. But it infuses money into the local economy. You get better stuff, and it also decreases the vehicle miles traveled. And then, once again, it goes back to the tailpipe of a vehicle, what it's putting out and how it affects the kids. And I assume that everybody works at JCPS because they like kids, right?
That's right.
Okay, good. And use water wisely. If you're brushing your teeth, if you're washing your dishes, and I'm going to go there, if you shave something, not judgmental here, don't let the water run while you're doing any of those things. I'm really bad about the washing the dishes thing. You got the suds on one side and you're rinsing on the other side, but the water over here is running the whole time you're washing over here. Wash them all, sit them in this drainer, spray them off. Don't let the water run for that 2 minutes that you're brushing your teeth. It's little things like that. The water company charges you for the water that comes into your house. MSD charges you about 3 times more because what comes in has to come out. So low flow fixtures, different things like that all contribute to that. JCPS is going to a lot of the low flow fixtures. And that's another thing. If you are in your buildings, wherever you're located, and you notice something that's leaking or a toilet that's running or a urinal that just keeps on flushing and doesn't stop, report that to the plant operators. They need to get that fixed because that just drags down the water bill that it doesn't need to be done. What's JCPS doing to be more sustainable? There's an energy management plan in place that works very diligently with Mike Mulhern and all the people in the facilities, and they try to save $500,000 a year in energy costs. And they've been shaving it down that much. So if you think about the computers, that's one way that's a quick $287,000. That's more than halfway to that $500,000 there. 155 school buildings have been in the kilowatt crackdown, which is a competition for energy efficiency in the Louisville metro area. Energy efficiency is a good sustainability effort. And if you can become more energy efficient, it doesn't stress LG&E as much. So, JCPS, I was a senior at Male High School, not this one, at the one down at Brook and Breck in 1979-80. JCPS has tracked their energy use since my senior year of high school. So 34 years they've been out there saying, we know how much this school did, we need to improve this, we need to improve that. But the kilowatt crackdown 2 years ago came down to the Cane Run Elementary School and the First National Tower. And the First National Tower ended up winning, but Cane Run has cut its energy use over 66%. They run on geothermal, so there's 238 wells behind the school that pull groundwater up to cool or heat the school. And so it's using the natural temperature of the earth to cut the energy cost. If you just look at the numerous Energy Star schools, when I started doing this, we didn't have any Energy Star schools. We started out with 8. We're up to 28 Energy Star schools as of a couple weeks ago when we added in Bates Elementary. JCPS was the first to have sustainability in the orientation session. I've been doing this, I guess, since about 2008. We're big into green infrastructure, rain gardens, pervious pavement, everything that makes the rainwater go into the groundwater as opposed to flooding and causing us problems. We talked about single stream recycling. JCPS has right-sized all of its vehicles. So where it used to be that everybody had those huge old vans that, no matter how much they had to carry, they've looked at the jobs now and they've been able to minimize vehicle sizes. A lot of the administrators used to all drive the biggest excursions or whatever they drove. They've downsized those too. Everything's efficient now and looking at gas efficiency as well. Green purchasing, we have a purchasing consortium through the partnership where we purchase everything together. We just got a brand new paper contract that helps us save money on post-consumer recycled content paper. We've got a new containerized waste disposal contract that we can all purchase off of. And then we've also got a new recycling contract. So a lot of things go on there through purchasing. And we're really trying to drive people to say, we don't want your packaging. Minimize that before you bring it to us because we don't want to throw it away. And with 4 big organizations, we ought to be able to get some traction there. We've done asthma studies and environmental health at Lassiter Middle School where we've given students an understanding of their triggers and different issues, ozone action days, pollen counts, so they understand when they might need to stay inside from recess because the air is not good for them if they've got any kind of reactive airway disease. Outdoor classrooms at all the schools, and then we've got environmental magnet programs at Cane Run, Portland Elementary, and Moore Middle and High School. And they're doing some interesting things because one of the things that started out with the partnership, JCPS has an environmental magnet. U of L and JCTC didn't have any kind of sustainability degrees. JCTC has put in a 2+2 associate degree in sustainability, and U of L is finishing up starting a bachelor's degree in sustainability and a master's degree. So we could potentially have students that start K through 12 at JCPS and go all the way through graduate work if they're interested in the environment, and they can do it right here at home. Why? Because sustainability is important at work and home. So environmental sustainability, to wrap up the first question I asked, it really is preserving the resources that we have so that future generations, the children of today and tomorrow, have additional resources that they need to live on. But if you can do it and save money, that's the best way to go. It demonstrates leadership. My 4 bosses are the superintendent, the 2 college presidents, and the mayor. I want to do stuff that makes them look good. They want to lead this community forward sustainability-wise. It protects the environment for the future. Once again, children are the future. It improves public health. Anytime you see public health in a sustainability sense, think of asthma studies, or heat is the other one that's coming up with any kind of climate instability. You know, how do you protect people from heat who don't have the air conditioning? It makes Louisville a greener city, and then if you think about it, people will say, well, my little bit can't help. But if everybody does a little bit, there's an additive effect, and those effects do add up to big results. Here's my contact information. If you haven't gone, well, the Summer Institute's over. If you go to any of the Summer Institutes for the instructional assistants, look for me there, because I do 2 different professional development sessions. I also do them throughout the year as they come, the professional development sessions come around. We'll go dumpster diving, or we'll do energy auditing. And dumpster diving is exactly what it sounds like. You go into the dumpster, you pull out the garbage, and you sort through it to see what's recyclable that is still making it into the dumpster. The energy auditing is a real interesting way. You look at the plug loads, and you can measure how much, different items use over a period of time. You can calculate over a year, if you unplug these things, or if you power down during breaks, how much energy you could save. So it's just some interesting ways. So if you've got students that you want to do this with, let me know. I'll come out and be glad to do that with students, instructional assistants, teachers. I've had it suggested that we do it with principals. What I think I'm going to do is get somebody to come film us when we do this the next time, so we can actually show, what's in the garbage, because people don't understand when there's really a better way to do it by recycling to decrease what's going to the landfill. It preserves the landfill space, but it also makes JCPS a much better and more efficient district.